Following on from my last video about the history of street photography at night, here today I'm going to start a short series of films about the techniques and methods that we can use to capture life on the streets at night. One of the easiest and most effective ways to photograph people at night is to shoot them against a light background as silhouettes. The human form can make quite a striking image when pictured in this way, and it can be fun to experiment with. The trick is to capture them as animatedly as possible. An image featuring a person in full stride or in a pose that makes them stand out from the background will be far more compelling than one in which they are motionless or where they appear as an indistinct form, a sort of dark blob. The key to making this work is by choosing a scene with a good main light source that illuminates the background sufficiently. This will make your subject stand out prominently whilst making their shape well defined and more recognizable. Setting your camera's shutter to continuous mode will reduce the chances of you missing the shot and will greatly increase the odds of you capturing a moving subject in an interesting or more dynamic pose. Metering for the brightest part of the background or the area behind your subject will result in an underexposure of the shadow areas in the rest of the scene. Now this will force these parts to appear darker in the image, ensuring that your main subject will be solid enough to form an effective silhouette. Pre-composing your scene and waiting for your subject to move into the frame will further increase the likelihood of you capturing the precise moment. Once you have decided on your backdrop and where you would most like any human presence to appear in the image, you'll be ready to perform the metering and focus tasks, which will then allow you to concentrate on the main subject as they move into the frame. It's important not to try and fight the low light conditions and instead embrace them as a creative tool. Focusing at night in these situations can be tricky, as your camera's autofocus system may struggle to find a clearly defined area on which to perform the task. Switching to manual focus may well be necessary. By metering and pre-focusing on an area in your scene, you can then concentrate on capturing a moving subject at the location in the frame that you desire. You may decide that you want a specific look to your silhouetted figure, and it might be a case of having to wait in position in order to achieve this. Your focus will be on looking out for the right character until they arrive in your scene. Performing tasks such as composition, metering and focusing beforehand will mean that you don't have to suddenly think about them when the time comes to take the shot. Much of street photography is about preparing in advance. Ideally, when the time comes to press the shutter, you will be thinking only about capturing the moment itself and not missing the shot. If you're patient enough and have set up the shot correctly, then the time will come when all things, including the arrival of your main subject, will come together for you to capture the image you had been hoping for. Shooting silhouetted figures against interesting backdrops is a great way to bring interest to your night pictures. You may often find scenes with backgrounds which appeal to you, but that seem to lack a main point of visual interest. It may be a scene that contains all the right ambience and detail that you're looking for, but somehow feels incomplete. This is where the inclusion of the human figure can finish the picture perfectly, adding that final touch that just seems to complete it. Looking for stimulating places to photograph at night can be made much easier when you understand and realize how you might be able to use them creatively. What may seem an empty or uninspiring place at first may actually turn out to be quite the opposite when you look for ways in which you can use it. In summing up, here are the takeaway points to remember. Instead of fighting the low light, think of using it as a creative tool. Composition matters even more at night. Aim for uncluttered scenes and well-defined outlines. Silhouettes rely on body language,
so watch for gestures, movement and unique profiles that communicate something. Keep your settings simple: a fast shutter for sharp motion, manual exposure to control highlights, and a slightly higher ISO if needed. Night silhouettes don't need perfect technical clarity. What matters is the mood, contrast and storytelling. I have a video coming up showing me in action at night on the streets, so stay tuned.
Photographing people as silhouetted shapes as described here may provide you with the solution that you're looking for, and it may also help turn an empty, uninspiring space into a striking picture.
Shooting at night is about shaping light and a sense of mystery into a single frame. With the right angles, contrast and a bit of creativity, you can transform ordinary night scenes into powerful, story-driven images. So embrace the shadows and start experimenting.
I hope watching this video has given you some ideas and inspiration for when it comes to shooting silhouettes of people at night. Let me know in the comments of the methods and techniques that you employ with your street photography after dark. As ever, thanks for watching and see you next time. A downloadable PDF of this video is available from the link in the description below.